I think we got this now. Hey, gang. Welcome to the Missouri Freedom Initiative. Today is Sunday, the 27th of March, and I'll start by asking you guys if you can give us a 5x5. Hello to Voodoo
I
Queen,
think we got
Tribulation
this
Prepper.
now. Hey, gang.
Oh, we got someone
Welcome
who's got their speakers
to
on.
the Missouri Freedom Initiative. Today is Sunday.
That was an accident.
Okay, gotcha. No problem. Accidents do happen once in a while. God knows I make my fair share of them. If you guys can hear us, let us know by giving us a 5x5. We're going to talk about HB 2118 tonight, which you see on your screen. But first, I would like to, I'll wait for the, okay, Sheraton's with us. Hey there, Sheraton. Let you guys know how well Jimmy's funeral went yesterday. It was a beautiful service. And so I just want to say Gary Ride from our group actually was able to make it his way to the funeral, and I want to say that I got to meet him, and that was really cool. Also, to let you know that he actually made a donation to the organization, and so those are rare and very much appreciated when they happen. So a special thank you to Gary for that, and for being there for Jimmy and his family. So I did a little bit of speaking, at the funeral, and I let everyone know about Jimmy's contributions to SEPA and how critical he was to that. So, but the show must go on, and Jimmy would have it no other way. And one of the things that we need to work on is House Bill 2118. I'm going to bring the gang in here so you guys can see them. And we have with us, by the way, we have Goatfoot Grant with us. We have Casey Rich. We have Liberty Revolutionary, also known as Caleb. We have the Missouri Liberty Report, also known as John. We have Ganai, who is Scott. We also have with us Casey Oaf, and welcome to you, man. And then also Rebel Cry. So special thank you to everyone who's joining us tonight, because we're going to get our hands dirty tonight. It's time to start talking about what we can do to further our freedoms in the state of Missouri. And this starts for us tonight with House Bill 2118, which is the Stand Your Ground Enhancement Bill in the state of Missouri. So to define stand your ground basically means you have the right to self-defense in or around your own property. And that's kind of what it means. Now, the Enhancement Act was brought about because of what happened to the McCloskeys. And in other cases, too, the McCloskeys are a perfect example. They didn't even shoot a gun. They literally were brandishing firearms as they were being threatened by a mob of Antifa or BLM, I'm not sure which, both maybe. But they had to go to, yeah, they had to go to court over this. And they shouldn't have had to. And that's what this bill is about. The reason they went to court is probably not very clear to a lot of folks. They went to court because they had to prove they were innocent in protecting their property just by brandishing firearms. Now, that's because there was a seedy character by the name of Ken Gardner, a prosecutor, who has socialist leanings, should I say? Some people would say liberal leanings, but I just know too much about her. I'm going to say socialist leanings, and is very anti-gun. And she was thinking that that would elevate her for her next election. It looks like it backfired. The McCloskeys were charged. They were never prosecuted. They pled guilty, and they got off with a light sentence, which was commuted by the governor of the state. And now we have to make sure that something like this never happens to anyone in this state ever again. Casey Rich has done an awful lot of work and studying on HB 2118, the Stand Your Ground Enhancement Act. So I think it's time to open it up for Casey Rich to start letting us know, basically what has happened with the bill so far. The track it's on right now, and I'm going to show that on the screen, but Casey was there for some of it. So Casey, go ahead, buddy.
All right. Well, basically where we're at now is just recently passed the Rules and Administrative Oversight Committee. All right. So now it's going to go to the floor. Rob Vescovo, Speaker of the House, he already put it on the House calendar. So the guy who decides now when it'll actually go to the floor, first it's going to go to the floor for what's called perfection, where that's a chance, I guess, people get debate over it, or if they want to try to add an amendment to it or whatever, basically just square the bill up. And then once that's done, then it'll probably get a second reading or something like that, and then it'll be up for a vote in the House. And if it passes that, then it'll be on to the Senate. So right now, the guy you really need to look up is Representative Dean Plocker, because he's the House floor leader, and he's the one who'll decide when it goes on the floor for that perfection. And I would say we need to call and email his office and kind of nudge him a little bit to get him to put it on there, kind of fast track it. I already talked to his aide, and she told me, because the first day when I found out it was going to his office to be, I called him up, and she said they already had several calls for it. So they think it's going to be a really hot issue. So like I said, if we start calling, emailing Representative Dean Plocker, I've got him up here where I'm at, but if you just go to house.mo.gov and you get on the main page, you'll hit members, and then it'll show all the members of the House. You just click on his name, and then you'll have his phone and his email. And that's the guy we need to start calling.
Yep, I know you're not watching on YouTube. I've already taken care of that. It's on the screen, and also I put a link in the chat.
I was looking up. Okay.
Yep.
And
no problem. 9 ghost sponsors right now.
Yep. So.
Okay, but there you go. You got it right there, man.
Yep. So I want to once again, gang. This is important. This is the man right now. This is the bottleneck for this bill. You guys remember in SEPA we had bottlenecks where we needed to concentrate our efforts. Casey Rich is 100% right. Dean Plocker is not necessarily a bottleneck, but he decides when it goes on the calendar for perfection or debate or passage in the House on the floor. So he's the floor leader. So that's what we need to do. We need to, starting tomorrow, actually we could do it tonight. You can always leave them a voicemail message, by the way. There's nothing
wrong. Message or the email.
Because I know folks are working during the week. I mean, I do that too. And so you may not be able to call his office during business hours. Leave a message off hours. You can send an email anytime. His email and his telephone number are both listed in the page that I just gave you guys. And plus I'll put it in the description of the video. Let's all get on this. Go ahead, Casey.
Okay, and also, look, if you're out of state watching this and you want to help, don't call them, because they'll see it. They'll see the area code, but you can always email. They're not going to know where you're from.
Well, everyone's got cell phone numbers from out of state these days, so
I
say call anyway.
From Missouri, but you know what I'm saying, man. I mean, so if you want to help do something, kickstart it in Missouri, and then maybe it'll keep spreading to other states. You
think
can do
of
that
this
too.
Yep, think of this as another extension of SEPA, because this should not be this way. Yeah. This is wrong. I meant the fact insane. That if you do a shooting in self-defense, and in the case of the McCloskeys, literally brandish a firearm in self-defense, literally just showing a firearm in self-defense, and suddenly you're in a court having to prove you're innocent of committing a crime. And so in any other crime other than gun crime in the state of Missouri, you are innocent until you are proven guilty. In the case of the McCloskeys, they were guilty. They had to prove their own innocence. And that's the reverse of the way it should be. And as we said, they did not even fire a bullet. They didn't even do that. But you know what? They'd be well within their rights if they had to. They were on their property, protecting their property. People were destroying the gate to get onto their property. You guys remember how this went. Oh, and welcome to Travis with the Prepared Homestead. I see you're in here. Thank you very much for joining.
Something else I'd like to add too, man. This is a super important bill, because you got to think about this, man. If that's you that's ever in that position, you got to go to court. Most of us don't have McCloskey money. All right. You'll literally be broken and bankrupt trying to defend something like that, because most people can't afford a good attorney. At best they can get like what do they call them? Public pretender or defender. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Public pretender.
No, seriously, man. I mean, it's a position you don't want to be in. It should be. I mean, it's supposed to be you're presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt. How you can even have this law in the first place is crazy.
Yeah.
But somehow it is. In Missouri, that's a real embarrassment for the state of Missouri.
Casey, is there concern that if it passes and goes to the Senate will carve it up?
We're working on that. Well, I'll get into that a little more later on.
Okay.
Yeah, one step at a time on that.
We got a game plan for that too.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, going into the Senate, knowing who's in there, it's always a possibility.
Yeah.
It's a real possibility. You got to remember that sister bill that Burleson had, 666, got struck down in committee. All right, so yeah, there's a real good. Like I said, we got a game plan for that.
Hey, Casey Rich.
We know it's coming.
Bob McGrew wants you to know he has a Taurus public defender.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yep. So Caleb and I, we get it. That's
yeah.
That's actually
it's a brand name. It's a very nice brand name.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Yeah.
And I have one too. Actually, I have the judge. By the way, the Taurus
judge.
Judge.
We'll see that one. We'll see him use that one in court. It'll be interesting.
Yep. So it basically
first, buddy.
Yep. But basically, it's made its way through committee, is what Casey has said. Now we're just waiting for a scheduled date on the floor, and Dean Plocker is the man to talk to. Now, if you can't talk to him, leave a message and let him know you want to see the Stand Your Ground Enhancement Act on the schedule to get on the House floor in the state of Missouri. That's what we're asking for.
It's important we push this thing as fast and as hard as possible, because especially once we get in the Senate, they might try and delay it, or they might even try and delay it here. We got to put the pressure on them, man. We got to give ourselves time to work this bill.
What is the actual bill title of this?
Goes by several different things. Hang on a sec, I'll pull it up.
I've got it actually. Hang on.
Because I know it's House Bill 2118, but that you know how Second Amendment Preservation Act had an official bill title.
Yeah, I've got it right here. Let's see. Yeah, they might have changed it. It's been through committee.
We can call it that all day, but I mean, it's like you got to reference it right when you're talking to them.
Okay, guys, I'm putting into the YouTube chat the actual bill, and the link to it. And this is actually Jared Taylor's bill in the House.
Yes.
Jared Taylor, you guys may remember him. He is also the guy who put forth the Second Amendment Preservation Act in the Missouri House. Same guy. So a same representative. And this is his last year. He's terming out. So, and he is not rerunning for any other office. So, at any rate, Jared Taylor, if you end up watching this, I just want to say thank you for everything you've done for the state of Missouri in the last 8 years.
And we're going to get you this bill.
Yep, we're going to try and deliver you this one too. And thank you again for everything you've done.
Oh, Trim Prepper, I have that same one as well, but it's the PT 111 version of that.
It was listed on here as a Self-Defense Act. Now I don't see it. For whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I mean, I guess we could just name it ourselves and reference,
Just say 21. You gotta say 2118, and then throw something after it. Self-Defense Act or something like that.
Yep, it's the
I don't
Stand Your Ground Enhancement Act is how it's being billed on some of the emails I've received. So I don't know if you guys have gotten those emails, but that's kind of, Aaron Doerr's calling it that. Jared Taylor's calling it that.
Well, I guess we should go by what Taylor's calling it. So what's he calling it?
The
Stand Your Ground
Enhancement Act.
All right.
Okay, fair.
Works for me.
Okay, so let's take a few more look. Basically, this doesn't matter. This doesn't have a lot of co-sponsors. And part of this is not part of this. This is because there's not enough people calling in wanting co-sponsorship. And like with SEPA, we broke all the records with that, with
Yeah.
co-sponsorship in the House. But it really doesn't really matter for this particular bill like it did for SEPA. However, one thing I do want to bring up, Casey, and it's not like I'm looking for things to bother myself with, but you guys can see on your screen here. These are the people who are testifying for the bill. You guys can see on your screen. I've highlighted.
Yep.
Okay. Well, the opponents of the bill is like 10 times longer. And most of them are law enforcement. Now, okay, guys, I'm about to go on a rant. If those of you can see my face, I'm about to go on a rant here. I'm
You
really
always get
sick
that little giggly smile when you're about to go on a rant.
I am really sick and tired of law enforcement literally getting involved in whittling away our rights to self-defense. I can't say that enough. I'm really getting tired of that in the state of Missouri, and it's not all of them. You know, for those of you who watch our program, it's not all of them, but that is what's on the list. In fact, I will go ahead and put this PDF out there for you guys. Link it to you guys, so you guys can see. Basically, it's prosecutors and law enforcement that literally were opponents of the bill, and we're talking about how you are innocent until proven guilty if you're involved in brandishing a firearm or shooting someone. God help us all, shooting someone in self-defense, right? And who's against it? Law enforcement and prosecutors. My God. They swore an oath when they took office, you know, to defend and protect your rights, didn't they? And here they are testifying against your rights. This is insane. Okay, guys, I'll throw this up on the YouTube chat. You guys look for that right now. There we go. And so you guys can read the document here. Proponents testifying for, opponents, and then testifying against. And then once again, Dean Plocker. So I've already given you guys that information. I'll give it one more time here before we close it out. Plus all this information I just provided, I'll get on the description section of the video here. In fact, I'll do that right now. So, all right, discussion, general discussion. First off on the YouTube chat, let's see. Oh, they're talking about pistols. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. That's a good conversation. It is. You know, that's a good one.
I gotta say, my PT 111 that the Trib Prepper's talking about here. That little group right here. It's the mag dump at 30 yards, so I can't complain about it.
He was talking about the G2, if I remember right.
Yeah. I mean, it's groups like this, so people like to complain about Taurus, but
we've got a G2 and a 1911 in Taurus, and never a lick of problems, and very reliable. I think they're for the money. I don't think you can beat a Taurus for the money. I really don't.
No, particularly the newer models. Since they started manufacturing, really from the G2s onward, they've gone up in quality. They've stopped. Oh God, what's what I'm looking for? Oh, they've stopped having so many little jam-o-matic issues like they did before. And I mean, the newest ones, they even have what's called the Taurus Optic Ready option.
Ooh.
Meaning it actually has the cutouts and the slides, so you can put an optic on it.
Nice. I can tell you the only problem that I had with another model of the Taurus was where the mag release was. If you didn't watch when you married your thumbs, because the grip was smaller, I think some people are literally just touching that mag release, and it's dropping the mag enough where it won't feed the next round, and you've got to make sure you tap that sucker back up. And other than that, not an issue. Just had to learn to watch where my thumb was at.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I've got in the description section of the video now. So any of you watching this after the fact, if you're watching it in the next 24 hours and they haven't repressed the video on YouTube, if you will, with the chat, just look in the description section. I've got all the relevant data there, including how to get a hold of Representative Dean Plocker And once again, what you're doing is you're asking him to make sure that House Bill 2118, the Stand Your Ground Enhancement Act, does get floor time. That's what we're asking him to do. And we're going to be nice.
We want to know.
Go ahead.
We want to know how soon he's going to put it on the floor.
Yep.
Just kind of put it in a nice way, just say, hey, look, we really want to see this thing get to the floor. We want to make sure it's got plenty of time to, if it passes, to go through the Senate and everything else. It's a really important bill.
Yep.
And like I said, first day I did a video, they already had 5 calls. And I wanted to point something out where you're talking about how there's so many more, as far as those, what do you call those? Not affidavits, but
testifying against opponents.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those things are set in. I think most of those representatives realize that the police and the sheriffs and all that, they're very organized, and they can get all kinds of people in their departments and their friends to send those in. And that's why they're going to totally outnumber. But they also realize the average person generally can't make it to one of those meetings, or they don't have time to do phone stuff like that. So you don't need near as many people. I want to bring something up. 2 years ago, when we were calling all the sheriffs and all that, they're very organized. The hell? All kinds of people in their departments and their friends to send those in. That's why they're going to.
That's KCOF.
Oh, is it?
Yep. I'm going to bring down his
All
volume.
right. I was like, what am I doing? But anyways, let me get back to it. What's one thing I'm going to bring up? A couple of years ago when we were calling all the sheriffs for SEPA. Yeah, I called my sheriff here in Jackson County. All right, and you got to understand, we have a population of over 700,000 people in this county. When I called him up that one day and asked him about, whether he supported SEPA or not, he asked me, he said, are you from a gun group or something? I said, no, I'm calling on my own behalf. Why is that? He goes, well, I've had 7 calls about this already. That was just 7 calls in a county full of 700,000 people he was tripping out. He didn't even say 7 calls that day. He just said 7 calls. So what's important, they know the sheriffs and, the police chiefs, they'll get a bunch of people and their friends or whatever to turn in all those. They're very organized. They understand that, but they also know they make up a very small part of the population. That's why you should never think, your email or your phone call doesn't matter, because it does. Keep sending them in, man. You don't need near as many as they do. People, like I said, these representatives, they realize the average person doesn't have time or can't make it to one of these things or don't always call. But when they start getting calls and emails and, especially from their district and stuff, they're going to pay attention, man. They're not stupid. So, I know Patrick was bringing that up like, man, look at all these. Let me tell you something. They already know they're going to get a bunch of them because those guys are very well organized. But when we start,
plus they get
numbers,
paid. They're paid.
Really goes a long ways.
They're on government time. They're on government time
Exactly.
through their jobs to be able to go to
Yes.
Jefferson City, and of course, they're motivated because federal funds look like they're drying up if they don't go against these things.
Yes, and they know that. Like I said, when we start making inroads, we don't need near as many calls as them before they realize, oh, hey, this word's on the street now, man. It's just like with SEPA. We had so many people calling, they knew it was on. And that's the same with this, though. Like I said, keep making those phone calls and emails. It makes a difference.
Yep.
And just, call up Plocker's office and say, hey, man, when you putting this thing on the floor, we want to get this, let's get it going. Like I said, Ada already talked to me. She said, that day I put up that video saying to get him, she already had 5 calls that day. And she was like, man, this is going to be a hot issue. So I think if we keep calling, they're going to make it a top priority.
Yep.
We just got to put the pressure on them, guys.
Yep. That's the way it works in Jefferson.
I noticed
Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I noticed a couple of the Missouri faith voices in the NAACP, which I'm sure of course, it looks like some racism is going to be thrown about, or they're going to use the tactic of, oh, the police can just shoot unarmed black men in the street willy-nilly now. If you bring this, you can already hear the stupid coming out. I'm sure that's what some of this testimony was, because I didn't even know what Missouri Faith Voices was, and I just went to their website, and it's like multicultural, and it's against white privilege and white power. So I'm like, oh, they're throwing a racism card out there now already. It's already begun.
You know, when it comes to this kind of stupid, does it give you that weird feeling like it makes you just kind of draw like a completely blank mind, and it's like you're kind of befuddled at how someone could draw those conclusions? You know, and honestly believe that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're just a bunch
Yeah,
of.
I mean, it's like you lose IQ points just listening to it or reading it.
Yeah. Pretty much.
They can throw,
Go ahead.
they can throw that out all they want. It's not going to make it do. Look, I mean, you think
No.
black people don't have to defend themselves too when somebody breaks into their home? And you think they can afford a lawyer any more than anyone else? No. That's not. Let them bring that stuff on, man. That's easy. You just throw it right back at them. That's stupid. It's retarded.
That's why the organization Black Guns Matter is having such a huge movement in Philadelphia right now, because Maj Toure is educating Black Americans on the Second Amendment.
Man, I can tell you. I'll tell you a little story right now. This was years ago, but I was doing some campaigning in downtown Kansas City, and it was in a black neighborhood, and some guy come up to me. He says, "Man, you must be carrying a gun." And I just like, well, that wouldn't be legal, so of course I'm not going to say that. Guy just kind of gave me the wink and a nod, like, yeah, believe me, there's more people down there carrying than you can imagine. They start bringing racism or whatever into it. It's nonsense, man. It's all about. It's simple, man. If you're the defendant, they have to prove you guilty, not you have to prove your innocence. That's insane. That's not how it's designed. So they can scream racism or whatever they want. It's not going to matter. Just throw it right back in their face, make them look foolish.
It's the premise of what's more racist: telling someone, especially in a neighborhood where crime rates are through the roof, you're telling those people that you shouldn't be able to write. You have to, if you defend your home and you shoot someone, God forbid you have to do that, that you have to inject self-defense into your trial instead of it being automatic, like, that guy doesn't live here, I live here. Yeah. He was kicking my door in, I shot him. But what's more racist? Allowing people to defend themselves, or having police departments and these minority-oriented groups saying, we don't want this? I mean, honestly, what's more racist?
Can I say something? Anytime you start bringing that up, man, the reason why they throw that at you is they want you to start addressing that. That way you can't make your point. That's what I said. Just ignore it. When they say stuff like that, because I'll tell you something right now. Like I said, black people have to defend themselves just like anyone else. So for them to bring that up, it's ridiculous. Like I said, you get in some of those rough areas and stuff, there's a lot more people down there carrying than you can imagine. They might not get public. That's why you say, when they start bringing up that racism, don't start saying, well, I don't see, just tell them they're stupid and just go on, make your point. Because they throw that at you, so you start addressing that instead of making your point. That's why they do. That's why they call you a Nazi and everything else, because they want you trying to defend that. Don't even do it. Just don't do it.
Well,
let's get back to the subject at hand. Like I said, most people got common sense. They try to make it sound like, this group of people is one way, this group. Dude, basically, it all comes down to common sense. If you have to defend yourself and you go to court, the burden of proof shouldn't be on you. I don't care who you are, or where you live, or whatever, And that's all you got to say, because most people understand that.
There's a remark I make to a lot of these anti-gun groups that claim that. It's one simple statement: armed minorities are harder to oppress.
There you go.
True.
Our population, it's hard to oppress.
True.
Obfuscation is a common tactic in government.
I was going to say the argument is always, oppression. Well, armed minorities are harder to oppress.
Yeah, they do say an armed population is a civil population, or it's a polite. An armed society is a polite society.
There we go. That's it.
And it's also, the implication that comes from that is they're trying to lower the severity of owning your own property as well.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, then you can go in property taxes, but we won't go down that route. So either way.
Bob McGrew says there's no shortage of stupid in government, and I couldn't agree more. There's a lot of stupid in government. I mean, that's an abundance. In fact, we as America, we export stupidity to the world. So, I mean, that's something that we do. I mean, we're very good at it, too. We export inflation. We export stupidity. So there's a lot of that going around. Trust me.
Yeah, my friend, one of my friends at the MOLibertyRadio.us, her slogan is, and we're going to have it put on T-shirts, everything government touches turns to crap. And it's true. Everything they touch, if they try to be a middleman in anything, it absolutely, honestly turns to crap. Now, if they remove themselves, it gets better. But if they want to put their hands in it, it automatically turns into a big steaming pile of dung. Automatically.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
There's no exception to what we're dealing with tonight. Look at the current laws in Missouri. You brandish a firearm towards a threat on your property, and suddenly you're in court. That is stupid. And we're going to change that with this bill. We're going to change that. We're going to turn this bill into a law. We're going to actually make some phone calls on it, gang. So it's time for us to get moving again, just like we did with SEPA. It's time for us to start making the phone calls, sending emails. Let's fix the stupid. Let's fix it. We have the power to do that.
At least can't fix stupid.
Well, we're going to fix this little tiny thread of stupid. We're going to fix.
You can't fix stupid, but you can get rid of stupid.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, and remember,
this bill passes, you'll be able to defend yourself against stupid. So.
That's right.
There you go. There you go.
Yep. What happened to the McCloskeys should not be happening to us. That should not be happening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, I brought the levels down just a little bit. If we were blowing your eardrums out, I'm really sorry. And to Kiosef, I'm sorry, man. If you're listening in, we had to mute you because we had background noise coming from you that was a little bit loud. So, but he had already disconnected. And Crystal Roby, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Tribulation Preppers here. Bob McGrew, of course. Patriot Pearl has come in for a little bit. Gary Ride is here. And Gary, thank you again, man. It was wonderful meeting you. Met him yesterday at the funeral. And let's see. M. Gabriel is here. Hey, Gabriel. How much longer to get 2118 through? That's up to us. That's up to us to make phone calls and send emails and let our representatives know in the House of Representatives. And that's another thing, too. Right now, we just call Dean Blocker. That's the main guy we need to call. And but once that's done, then we call up our other reps and email our reps. We want to make sure that they're voting the right way on this very important issue. So how much longer? Mm-hmm. Well, we have 2 months left in the legislative season. Actually, just a little under 2 months. So we got to get this thing moving really quick because we're just still in the House. We have to get it voted in on the House and then into the Senate so they can put it through committee there. And then, once again, go through that process in the Senate. So
yeah, I think how long it's going to take is going to depend on us.
Yeah.
The more pressure we put on them and get talking, the sooner we're going to get. That's why we don't want to wait. We want to have plenty of time. Like I said, when it gets in the Senate, it's going to be a battle. And I said there's a game plan for that too. But, right now we just need to make sure Plocker puts this thing on the floor sooner the better.
Yep, it's precision. Mm-hmm. And Aurora Borealis has joined us as well. And Gary Ride's acknowledging that we were chatting yesterday. Once again, great to meet you. So, gang, that's what we do. That's what we did to get SEPA done. We literally, as I said earlier today, and I say it because I love saying this, we're plunging our hands into the filth of Missouri legislation to get the good work done. That's what we do. And so, yep, be sure to let your people know at work, your family, your friends. Let them know about this important bill, HB 2118. It just rolls off the tongue. That's the one they want to call about. And Aurora Borealis, nice to have you with us here as well. And anyone can come and join us in on Discord, by the way. You're always welcome to come in. There's the only thing we require is that you're clothed, So, and of course, we like to keep the language nice and clean. So, but that's like I said, we're trying to do some good stuff here in Missouri, and we're hoping we're inspiring people in other states to get this kind of thing done in their state. I'm on Twitter, gang. It's Missouri Freedom Initiative on Twitter. And one thing I have noticed is a lot of folks on Twitter that, and I'm going to treat this subject a little gingerly and gently. A lot of folks on Twitter are really hoping that Trump gets reelected in 2014 and sets the ship right.
2024.
2024, thank you. And I am here to say that that's not a good plan. That is not a good plan. While we're losing our freedoms right now, you can be working in your state in using the 10th Amendment to actually, let's just say, fortify your state from crap rolling downhill from D.C., like we're doing here in Missouri, the Second Amendment Preservation Act. So let's do this. Let's do this. Let's actually understand that the external threat is not necessarily the Ukraine or Russia or China. The threat that we as Americans mostly face is from our own federal government, taking away our rights. So that's what you can do to defend yourself, is get involved in your state, just on the state level. And it's so much easier to do than working with the federal level. So much easier. So M. Gabriel said, Aaron Doerr's videos are inspiring. They certainly are. He is one heck of a speaker. There is no doubt about that. And I know he's pushing for this bill too. I think he might have actually written the language for this bill. And but Aaron, we know Aaron very well. We worked with him on the Second Amendment Preservation Act. So continue to plug for 10th Amendment Center on YouTube. Hey, there you go. 10th Amendment Center is great. Michael Bolden is a friend of ours. And we're hoping someday to get him on our show and to actually come and talk to us.
Yeah, he's just always visiting a cat covering up crap.
Yep. And welcome to Doc Web.
Good afternoon.
Hey there. It's actually evening time.
Evening, yeah.
It is. Yep. So, all right. Well, first of all, I'd like to ask anyone on YouTube if you guys have any questions about HB 2118, the Stand Your Ground Enhancement Act, or any questions about what to do about it. If you guys have any questions, just let us know. We're here to help. And in fact, we're getting, we have, a little bit less than 2 months left in the legislative season, and we have to move quickly now. So my plans are to actually do another live stream on Thursday nights. So we'll do Thursday night and Sunday night. For the rest of the legislative season, that'll be until the middle of May. So we can jump on this stuff quicker. I'll also put out standalone videos if need be as well. Let's see. Didn't Lincoln say that the main threat to the U.S. is internal? I don't know if Lincoln said that, but that would be a smart thing for him to say.
Well, depends. What is he referencing internal?
Lincoln was the main threat from the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, my point being is, what is he referencing? People that want their freedom, or is he referencing... That's my question.
Yep.
Are we talking about Lincoln? We're talking Lincoln Huff?
Lincoln
or are we
Huff.
talking? Are we talking Abraham Lincoln?
I think he was referring to Abraham Lincoln.
Okay, I was going to say Lincoln Huff is
bad. So
Yeah, we'll be talking about that dude soon enough.
Yep.
Man.
Yep.
I was thinking we were talking Lincoln Huff.
Yep. American Patriot says,
no,
I totally
but-
agree. I don't think Trump would be the right guy in 2024. I'm hoping DeSantis runs. Trump was great for the most part, but he let us down by not doing more to secure the election.
Trump was a dumpster fire.
Put everyone to sleep.
Well, the main point is this, is waiting for someone in D.C. to save you in your state is the wrong course of action.
Yep.
It's the wrong thing to do. D.C. does not care about you. They don't care about you at all. They don't. So it doesn't matter who gets elected in DC. There's no help coming for you. You have to do it in your state. And in some states are so bad, you're going to have to do it at a city and a county level instead. State level is better if you can do it, because that way you get it done one time in one place. And supremacy clause, we have supremacy clause in the state of Missouri, so it's better for us to do it at the state level than it is a local level anyway. So, yep, that's my message to you guys. We need to hit the ground running now. I know we've had a lot of distractions so far this year. The biggest one that really set us back, this is why the gold and silver bill did not get filed this year, even though got everything I needed to the right people. It didn't get done in time, and that's because redistricting. A lot of time got wasted, guys. We lost like 6 weeks this year of legislative time because of redistricting. And it's partially the populace's fault, because the populace was calling up, begging their senator and their representatives to get involved in that. And so that was a mistake. I mean, we shouldn't have gotten, we should have tabled that. But and then just worked with the existing districts for this election. But we're going to.
It was still ended up 6-2 anyways. So.
Yep.
American Patriot said something else there too, and my response is, let's see here. Not a fan. There are so many terms in here I can't use on YouTube. We'll have to talk about that more on another podcast that's not on YouTube. But there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, and we're not a right-left organization. We're a constitutional organization. So anyone who's constitutional, we'll be okay with them. We tend to find a lot more of that on one side of the aisle than the other, though, particularly in Missouri.
Yeah, and let's see here. Trib Prepper, well, I guess message retracted, but basically it said that Rand Paul globalist shill. Honestly, he's not exactly wrong there. He does some things all right, but I think that apple kind of fell off the tree and rolled down the hill from his father.
Out on the sidewalk onto the street and ran over by a truck. Now he's an applesauce stain.
Applesauce stain, I love it. Let's see, Bob McGrew says something
Rizzo
great.
fell off the Rizzo tree.
Yeah, no help coming, but look out for the ATF. Yeah, not getting help, just getting problems from the federal government. That is very true, Bob. Thank you for saying that. Let's see, is the Discord unrated? I'm not sure I understand that, M. Gabriel.
It's probably a different word and then it typo. Yeah,
Yep.
Try to clarify on that. The whole inside of my mouth's going to be blue after this, but I don't care.
Yep, if you guys have any questions on 2118, please let us know.
Should we discuss how we want to handle the Senate part?
Not yet. Not yet.
All right.
That's not a good idea yet. We need to hit these one at a time, and we need to stay focused. And Dean
All right.
Plocker is the issue right now. So we'll work on that
Good
side.
enough.
Hey, one more thing I'd like to talk about tonight, guys. This is something that John does on his channel. Casey Rich has SEPA Central. Just do a quick search for SEPA Central on YouTube. John also has a channel. It's the Missouri Liberty Report. And I'll find it and put a link up on the chat for it. But what John is doing is he's identifying good people that are running for office right now. That's something that we're going to be getting into very big and hardcore on this channel as soon as the legislative season's over. Now, we did have last week, I'm sorry, guys. I was just thinking that's the last time we had Jimmy, and he actually came in, and his video was working great, his internet was working great. But we had April Lejeune in last week, and what John is doing is very similar. He's looking for very, very good constitutional people running for office. We're going to be doing a lot of that too. We're not going to tell anyone who to vote for, but we can certainly bring some light on some people that aren't getting light. We can certainly do that. And it's usually because the mainstream media doesn't like them. The local media here in Missouri doesn't like them. they're a bit too constitutional. That's the problem with them. They adhere too closely to the Constitution. So those are the kind of people we generally like. But we're going to be very careful about, basically how we go forward with this, because there's lots of great candidates out there, and we want to make sure that everyone knows the best choices. And those who are the best choices are certainly ones that agree with the SEPA law that we have in Missouri. This is now the benchmark for whether or not you are for the Second Amendment, as far as we are concerned in our organization. Those who don't like...
nothing less matters.
That's correct. I agree with you. And in fact, you guys could even be looking at this from a different point of view in a different state. Look at for those who want to, basically put SEPA legislation into, their General Assembly with teeth. Those are the kind of people that you want to support. So Eric Schmidt, okay, I want to read something here. American Patriot said, Eric Schmidt would make a great senator. He definitely fights the good fight. I think Missouri was the second one that signed the Texas lawsuit that could have saved us from Biden. I'm not 100% sure about that saving us from Biden, because I don't think there was any intention to. I think that was kind of a distraction. I don't think anyone had any intention to really do anything about that. And I know what you're talking about, and I definitely don't want to get into it on this video. Eric Schmidt is a good man. There's absolutely no doubt about it, but I'm selfish. I would prefer, if I had my way, I would prefer that he stay here for another 2 years after his term is up and run for governor. That would be my choice for Eric Schmidt. But I don't get a choice, but he is definitely a good man. Making a great senator, he would make a great senator. But I'm selfish, and I want to keep him here in the state where I care about the laws a little bit more than D.C. laws. So that's my opinion.
He's one of 100 guys if he goes up to D.C. If he stays here as governor, you got to remember, he already has experience as an attorney general. Like when we had, the guy we got now up there, Parson, when we had the problems with all the mandates that Biden threw down, a bunch of people were getting fired left and right and let go. Parsons just like, well, we'll file a lawsuit, and okay, we filed a lawsuit and finally ended up winning it. But, while all that was going on, all those people lost their jobs. They never got them back. The damage was already done. And with Eric Schmidt as a governor, being that area has experience as an attorney general and a law, and understands the law, we can have somebody that'd be more proactive. We'd probably go out and file a lawsuit and force the feds to go after that law, as opposed to them, somebody sending a mandate and us having to fight that. I think Schmidt would just he'd be a few more steps ahead, whereas Parsons, he's just reactionary if you put enough heat on him. He's really a weak governor.
I wanted to mention something here because I'm sorry for Caleb. Give me just a second here. I'll give you the floor in a second. Someone put in here, I'm distrustful of Greitens on Second Amendment. If you guys are following us on Twitter, I had a little exchange with Mr. Greitens. So I'm not going to mention it right now at this point in time. So I'm just going to say that if you're interested and if you're on Twitter, join us on Twitter, Missouri Freedom Initiative on Twitter. And basically you can look that up and you can see what happened there. But yes, I did have a small exchange about Greitens. And it has to do with that statement, being distrustful of him on the Second Amendment. I obviously am as well. And I made mention of it on Twitter. I tagged him. And this is the incredible thing. He came in less than 30 seconds. And he had something to say about what I said. He was on that pretty quick. But then
you kept the receipts from that, right?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Okay.
All right. I still have it. So at any rate, I don't think he's the best Second Amendment person, Greitens. He was against SEPA, and then the public literally let him know what they thought about him being against SEPA, and then suddenly he was for SEPA. So he's a political opportunist, in my opinion, when it comes to all things Second Amendment. That is dangerous. We don't want people like that representing Missouri. Okay, I'm sorry, Caleb. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I don't know which one should we. I was just about to say pretty much exactly that about Crichton's. What should we call him? Judas or Benedict Arnold?
Yeah. Yep. And with Greitens, and by the way, guys, I don't tell people who to vote for. That is not my style anyway. But believe me, we're going to be going through a process of surveys, questionnaires, and interviews like you wouldn't believe. And we need your help. All of you guys, that are part of our initiative, let us know about good people running for office in your area so we can help get them exposure through our platform. So we can interview them, we can talk about them. Particularly on a county level and up. City level, we'll work with that too. So we need to get good people in office. John is doing some great work on this on the Missouri Liberty Report. He's actually working this already. I'm going to read something from Crystal Roby. I just wanted to say that I only got to see Patrick and Jimmy together once at Travis's meeting a few months back. You guys played off each other so well. It was great to see. He was the perfect partner in this organization for me. He was the perfect partner, and I'm going to miss him tremendously. And yes, what you guys saw in the meeting is exactly the way we were in real life. And so, that I'm going to miss the heck out of that guy. He was a good friend, and he was a great partner, and he was very passionate about everyone's Second Amendment rights. He was very passionate about the Constitution. And it was a tremendous loss for the state of Missouri. And there we go. Yep.
Here's to Jimmy.
Here's to Jimmy. Raise him if you got him, gang.
Don't have any liquor here.
I'm drinking water.
This.
It's okay. Jimmy doesn't mind. Yep.
I just want to add to what you're saying, Patrick. If anybody out there knows of a good constitutional candidate, point them my way. You can find me Missouri Liberty Report on Facebook, at the Push for Liberty on Twitter. I don't have a web page yet. I've tried messing with this WordPress, and I've almost shot several computers because it aggravates me so bad. But Grant, he pushed Casey Pemberton to me. Robert, I've known for a while. But if you guys know anybody in the state of Missouri that's a good constitutional candidate, please send them my way, and I will give them all the time they want. I think Robert and I went about an hour and a half. I don't have a fix. Only doing these questions. We just let it go where it goes, because that's much more comfortable for myself and the person I'm interviewing, and we just talk about the topics. And then if you guys watch the live stream on Friday nights, feel free to ask questions. But I'm looking for more people to get on and give them some airtime, because as Patrick mentioned earlier, guys like Casey, guys like Robert, Robert's a libertarian, so he does get some hits from other libertarian podcasters. I've seen him do interviews when he was running for the U.S. House back in 2020. But other than that, he's not getting any airtime. In fact, there's been a couple times that they've had these big, meetings for the candidates, and then he finds out about them, and he's not getting invited, so he has to contact him and say, I'm a candidate, can I come? Oh yeah, somehow we overlooked you. And he gets to go. So we've got to fight for these guys and let them have a chance to speak and do their thing.
Yep. Well said, man. We need good people in office here throughout the state. So I did put a link in for John's Missouri Liberty Report right in the YouTube chat. And also, I am putting in a link to Casey Rich's SEPA Central. So that is another good channel to sub to. We can't have enough liberty. The more liberty we have and the more people we have pushing the Constitution and liberty, the better off we all are, gang. Okay, let's see. Rhino76 says, I'm not on Twitter, and I refuse to be. I really want to know about Greitens. I don't feel I trust him at all. How can I find out what happened? Well, I'll tell you what. when we start vetting people, I will be bringing my Twitter stuff to the table. I'll actually be doing screenshots and I will share them with you guys. So you guys will see how they're responding to me through the Missouri Freedom Initiative and see what they have to say about what I am asking them. And by the way, I couldn't be any nicer on Twitter. Ask Caleb. I'm a really nice guy. I just ask, difficult questions sometimes. And then suddenly they go dead. They stop responding to me.
Patrick is very kind on Twitter.
What's that, GoFoot?
Patrick is very kind on Twitter.
Yeah. So I mean, he didn't get mean with me either. He just stopped responding after a while because I was catching him up in let's just say a possible fib. I was catching him up in a possible fib, and he decided it was best to just stop responding.
I just scrolled back through there in the reply section. I can't find it.
You can't? I haven't looked at it for today. I looked at it yesterday morning.
Well, maybe it's just
okay. I'll
on my end.
I'll find it. And Voodoo says, Voodoo says both channels are great. Both the Missouri Liberty Report and SEPA Central. Guys, please do sub to both channels. They are putting out content that's relevant to us. Now, KC is doing more than just Missouri, SEPA, stuff. I get that. But it's so important that other states have a concrete foundation for going forward with SEPA with teeth. KC Rich is attempting to do that. Now, we still have the old Truth, Money, and Freedom podcast channel where all of our old SEPA data is, and I still haven't ported that over to this channel and playlists. It's just a lack of time. Otherwise, it would have been done. But we still have that on, and of course, I have them on my hard drive, too, if that channel ever gets nuked by YouTube because they found something offensive about freedom or liberty, or us getting together and talking about freedom and liberty like libertarians tend to do. Oh, I said the word libertarian. Remember, we're supposed to be terrorists if we're libertarians, aren't we? Didn't they say that at the federal level that we might be terrorists if we're libertarian?
Yeah. Well, recently they said that we are definitely terrorists if we disagree with the government in any way, and say it online. So yeah, that's everybody at this point. I mean,
half the country, anyways.
So this is something, and YouTube. This is something that came straight out of the mouth of one of the senators. So this isn't my words. This is basically, I forget who it was. I think it was Matt Gaetz. This is a while back, but he was saying, the congressional approval rating is 9%, which, by the way, the other 91% at this point is considered domestic terrorists because of that. But he said that the congressional approval rating is 9%, and then he said, Muammar Gaddafi was at 13% approval rating was dragged out of his office and killed.
I want to once again bring. I don't have the evidence in front of me, but I have to say this. You just struck something in me, Caleb. If you look at the race for Missouri Senate right now, Schatz is actually lower than Other right now. He's actually there. He's actually lower than Other. And he's put a lot of money into his campaign, too. He has. So, at any rate.
Gas tax came back to bite him, didn't it?
It looks like it may have. I think a lot of people know he had something to do with that. Let's see.
Oh, God.
So is it true that Schmidt supports McConnell for Senate leader? I have no idea that if Eric Schmidt actually supports McConnell for. We haven't talked to Schmidt at all, and we intend to. I think that's going to happen. But right now, we have not talked to Eric Schmidt on what his plans are above and beyond actually getting the Senate seat. And by the way, if I hear another person say taking Roy Blunt's seat, I'm going to blow my brains out. Because it's not Roy Blunt's seat, it's the people's seat. And Roy Blunt should never have sat in that seat. In fact, they should really burn the chair and get a brand new chair for whoever takes that position, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, like I said before, I thought I'd meet a Blunt I didn't like.
Technically, if it weren't for the 17th Amendment, it's the state of Missouri's seat.
Technically, you are correct. Yep. The people's seat, is just another way of putting it.
The
but
house
you're
is the house is supposed to be the people's seat, and the Senate is supposed to be the state's seat.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Now, I
Because
will
they
say
hate the
this.
10th Amendment so much, Patrick, that you love.
thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Go ahead, John.
I remember years ago on an old podcast that I did. I was interviewing some people from some of the local Tea Party or Patriot movements. And I remember an article in the St. Louis Post-Disgrace talking about the St. Louis County Tea Party. And at the time, Blunt was back up for re-election. And I couldn't help but laugh hysterically where they're like, well, we don't have any other candidates, so we're gonna hold our nose and pull the lever, and we're gonna start holding Blunt accountable. Now that he's been in here this long, you've refused to hold him accountable now, and so now you're going to, and you expect him to act any differently. That's the most retarded thing I've heard this year, and that was back in, I think 2012, 2016, somewhere in there. I think it was 2012. Now you're going to hold him accountable?
Yep.
Come on. What a joke.
Of course.
Oh, only when he goes to retire, you're going to hold him accountable.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I don't know if this is the right time or not. I thought I'd bring this up because we haven't had any questions come up. But I want to talk a little bit about Travis's Expo, the Prepared Homestead. And for those of you who are not familiar with Travis and the Prepared Homestead, I highly recommend that you sub to his channel. So we'll start there first, and I'll probably bring that up here. But he is having basically a Prepper Expo, and that is May 26th, Caleb, is that correct?
May 26th and 27th. It is that Thursday and Friday.
Okay. We will have a presence there. Our organization will be there. And for those of you, there's going to be tons of speakers. And we'll probably do a little bit of speaking here from our organization as well. I know that there'll be tons of other people there speaking as well. But it's a week. It's a Thursday and Friday, is that right? Or a Wednesday and Thursday? It's something like that.
No, it's Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday.
Why is he picking the week for that?
I don't think he had a choice.
Because that's when he could. That's when he could rent that. We already talked about that, Casey. That's when he could rent it. That place down there. He usually rents out only that building and the like close up ground, but then this time I think he's going to do the entire surrounding ground, and that's when he had the window. Yep, it is the last full week of May. So it is the 26th and 27th, which is Thursday and Friday. The last full week of May.
Okay. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because there's no charge to go to this expo. There's no charge to listen to the speakers. And basically vendors can set up tables, and there's no charge for them to do that as well. So we think we're probably going to go ahead.
Get in contact with Travis and everything over Prepared Homestead and whatnot to make sure there's room and things set up properly.
Yep. So I just put into the YouTube chat, pardon me, a link to Travis's The Prepared Homestead on YouTube. So if you guys are not familiar with, I think everyone in our audience is familiar with Travis. In fact, we have a lot of folks that have come over here from there. But at any rate, look into this. Find out if there's something you and your family want to do. But we will definitely be there. We will have a presence there. We will be speaking there, and we'll probably have some tables there as well. So just want to remind you guys, thinking about that going forward.
Also, if you go down there, I know he's not one who likes to ask about it, but if it gets expensive to rent that ground and that the food and everything there. That of course, people bring other stuff in too, but
yep. But
I think what does he say? He takes it. He takes a couple bucks, just to kind of help cover the costs.
Yep. So American Patriots is Go ahead.
What's the links to the event you're talking about in the voice channel or the text channels?
That would be in YouTube. On the YouTube side, I'm putting them in.
All right.
So, and also too, most of the links except for Travis, and I'll get the 3 YouTube channels. Travis is always linked below to us, by the way. He's a partner, to the Missouri Freedom Initiative. But I need to
is the the network that he has. So I'll go ahead and post that in there.
Yep. By the way, official announcement too. John with the Missouri Liberty Report is also a partner with the Missouri Freedom Initiative, and he'll be listed down below permanently in our description section as well. So, so if you guys, well, I've already put that in there in the chat, but he will be in there permanently from this point forward, listed in our partners list down in the description section. So you'll always be able to find him there. And
Much appreciated.
You bet. Love your interviews. You do a good job.
Thank you.
And America Patriot says Travis is awesome. I've been on the THP network for a few months now. Guys, I did a video about this just literally earlier about 2 weeks ago. Pretty much all like-minded people, not like Facebook and Twitter. I haven't used Facebook in over a year. I agree with you, American Patriot. First of all, Tribulation Prepper says Travis's beard isn't real. We're starting some drama now. I'm not 100% sure it's real. I've never really tugged on it, but it looks pretty real.
It is real. He jerked on it pretty hard on stream. He just yanked on it. It's real. It's real. Just like KC's up here. It's very real.
Yeah. So Tribulation Prepper's just having a little fun there. Trib and Travis are actually pretty good friends.
Yeah.
But you're right. I've announced here, I just don't do anything on Facebook. Now, my wife and I share the same Facebook account. It's called Chimichanga. My wife is on Facebook fighting the good fight, most of the time. I don't even touch Facebook anymore except to post videos. I have nothing else to say there. I mean, I just hate Facebook. Travis's network is all like-minded people, but the important thing is... Go ahead.
Don't say that on YouTube. Don't say that on YouTube. Don't say you hate Facebook on YouTube.
Oh, gotcha. I forgot about that. Yep. Okay. I love Facebook. I love it. I was just kidding about that.
We may be using it anyways.
Yeah.
We love Big Brother.
Yeah,
we love Big Brother.
And Mad Mom is with us now too. Hey there, Mad Mom. So basically, we have a page on Facebook for our organization. But I would like it if, and I did leave a link on that video, but you guys will see now in the description section of all of our videos, the Prepared Homestead Network is also listed in the description section as one of our socials. I haven't taken Facebook off yet, but I intend to get rid of it by late summer at the latest. We can't grow there anymore. Facebook monitors and censors things inside of our group, even though they have turned us totally to a private group. We used to be public. People can't find us. The only way people can get in is by invite. And actually, I've sent invites to people to Facebook months ago, and they said the invites don't work. I mean, they've just stymied our growth over there on Facebook. Even though I love Facebook, Facebook is just freaking awesome. Especially if you love drama. If you want to be in never-ending keyboard warrior drama heaven, just go right to Facebook. And by the way,
go right to Facebook.
Yeah, go right to Facebook.
By the way, 2 + 2 is 5.
Yeah, 2 + 2 is 5, and also be prepared to get censored. The Facebook will censor you faster than any other social media platform out there. YouTube is a close second. Love you, YouTube. Love you, CIA and Google. Love you guys.
Alphabet Inc.
M. Gabriel says, "Ooh, Big Brother, censor me harder." Let's see. It was McConnell who gave Blunt and the other 17 rhinos permission to vote. Yeah. Gabriel, we get your point.
Censor me harder, Jack. Censor me harder.
Hey, Serenity Asylum Acres is here. Gosh darn it. Well, welcome. Yep. So I'll tell you what, any further questions, because I'm thinking we're going to wrap up here pretty soon. Any further questions about HB 2118 and what we need to do? I've got everything listed down in the description section of this video, believe it or not. So you can refresh and see it right in the description section. But let's go ahead and move that bill. And let's go ahead and call up Dean Plocker tomorrow. Email him as well. I would do both. This is what we did during SEPA. Yes, you can make a phone call, but you can equally send an email. And I did both to every single rep and every senator that I called to get SEPA done. Every time. So, Triple T Tony. Hey there. Are you familiar with the Bernadette Holzer? She is on the Democratic ticket, State Representative 143. No, I'm not familiar with her. I am not. Thank you for bringing that up, though, but we will be looking into all of them. We're not going to have time off, gang. When the legislative season's over, that's when campaigning season begins, and we're going to start. Actually, we'll start sending out surveys here pretty quick. I'm waiting for final. There's someone whose judgment I need on the survey that I've made, and I'm waiting for them to give me the wink and the nod and say that my survey is okay, that it's not offensive.
Be here before we know it.
Just give me a while, Pat.
All right, gotcha. All right, Casey. All right.
I'll look it over for you.
All right, gotcha. We want strong Second Amendment supporters.
Before we know it.
What's that, Grant?
August will be here before we know it.
Yep, that's primary season too.
Yep.
Hey, do you think if we, I was gonna say, do you think if as we get closer to the end of this video, if we say a few hail YouTubes, that we'll get more views?
I don't know.
They might keep us on another week or two.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Their algorithms are getting pretty good. They could like see sarcasm in my face with the image monitoring software, and so I don't know if it'll work. We can always try, though.
I don't know, the comedians aren't getting censored, so.
Yep. That's another thing. I need to start listing all of our videos as comedy. Maybe they'll leave us alone.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, there we go.
Listeners in.
Yeah.
Our views will probably go through the roof if we start viewing it as comedy.
Yeah. And we should be more comedic here. Jimmy did that role for us, and now we have to pick up.
I could do that, but I know we'd get censored for sure.
We have the capability of being funny. I used to do impressions and stuff once in a while, just to be silly and stuff like that. But once in a while we'll do something silly. Trust me, we'll come out with some silly standalone videos too.
But hey, on 2118, guys, let's make those calls and emails. The sooner we can get this thing on the floor and pass through the House, the sooner we get to bust out the game plan for the Senate.
Yep.
And I tell you what, nothing would be sweeter than to roll into in the May over there at Jesus. The Expo in May. It'd be great to roll into there having 2118 under our belts, man. That would be a really sweet deal.
Yep, guys, remember Dean Plocker. Dean Plocker is the guy that we're wanting to talk to. And once again, you don't have to call during business hours. If you don't have time during the day, everyone gets that. They have voicemail. Yep. Leave a voicemail.
Voicemail, got email. Let's get this thing through the House, and let's go for that Senate, baby.
And let me know, gang. You guys remember here during Truth, Money, and Freedom when we were doing SEPA, I used to actually do speakerphone with my phone and make calls to the politicians, but I had to, if they picked up the phone, let them know they were being recorded, or they were live, or what have you. But if you guys want me to start doing that again with you guys, I mean, I know you guys enjoyed that, but if you want me to do that on this bill, you guys just let me know. And
yes, be fun.
Yep. Okay, gotcha. So on Thursday, if we don't have Dean Plocker with scheduled time, then Thursday night when we do our live stream, we're going to do a Ubitubathon. We are going to get everyone who comes into the live stream to be making phone calls the same time I'm making phone calls. Dean Plocker has the ability to hold 75 voicemails. Let's fill them all up, gang. And by the way, I'm not saying there's an excuse to wait till Thursday night. I'm making my phone calls again tomorrow.
Yeah, let's get this thing on the floor before Thursday.
And remember emails too, please. Actually, that's how we get SEPA done. That's how we got it done. Emails and phone calls. Visits are not necessary at this point, but we'll let you know if visits are necessary to seal the deal on this. We'll let you know. Okay, Triple T. Tony says she's running against the Republican incumbent Bernie Cook. She is a tree-hugging anti-American hippie that lived in St. Louis and now lives in Elk Creek. Okay, so basically we have tree-hugging and anti-American hippie. Let's see how she responds to one of our surveys. I don't think she's going to like our survey. I don't think she'll send it in when she gets it. You guys will need your help here when it comes to surveys because we're going to need your help to get them out to everyone. I am hoping that within 1 week, and no, I shouldn't say that because I'm not meeting with the web guy until week after next. 2 weeks, we'll have the survey that we want to give anyone who's running for office in Missouri on our website. And then you guys can download them, or they'll be PDFs. You guys can take them right off the website and email them to anyone who's running an office in your area, and there'll be information on the bottom of the survey where to email them to. And that will be direct to us at the initiative, so we can actually start posting this publicly for everyone to see, and we can, do the scorecard. So let's remember that too. We're going to get into this survey thing, and also this is a critical time in history, gang. We don't need any more anti-gun, anti-American, tree-hugging, hippies in office anymore. We really don't.
I don't have a problem with tree hugging as long as it's voluntary.
Well, as long as it's voluntary. If it's mandatory tree hugging, though, that's where we draw the line, isn't that right?
That's where the problem is.
What if they're pro-American tree-hugging hippies? Is that all right?
Well, if they're pro, that means, basically they're okay with people hugging trees, but they themselves may not necessarily be hugging trees.
What's wrong with hugging trees?
There's nothing wrong with hugging trees, except for if it's a black locust or a honey locust. We're talking some serious damage here. So if you're hugging, well, hang on. You don't want to be hugging cedar or pine or any of the maples either. It gets sticky after a while.
Well, the other thing too is pines. Sometimes those things, it'll poke your skin. You start getting little hives where it pokes too. So it becomes a problem. Oh, and hedge. Hedge is no fun. It's thorny.
Yep.
Damn, you guys been hugging some trees, haven't you?
Well,
come on, don't lie. Don't lie.
Let's see. American Patriot says, I'm moving to Missouri late summer, early fall. Welcome, man. Still working on selling my house. What are the benefits of getting a concealed carry license, or should I just skip it and use constitutional carry? If you intend to be driving between states after you're in Missouri, I would get the concealed carry license. If you are not intending to do so and you're pretty much going to stay in Missouri full time, there's no reason to get that license. Just use the constitutional carry.
Unless you want to carry at the Capitol.
Yeah, government sites, you will need. Go ahead.
I will say the difference between the permitless carry in Missouri versus the non-permit, versus having the permit. There are still places that if you don't have the permit, that are considered prohibited locations, and it's defined as a crime to carry them there. However, just about anywhere, if you go ahead and get the permit, once again, it's an option. However, we should try to figure out how to change that around later too. So
we gotta fix that next year.
Yeah, something like that. We'll figure out a way around how to fix that. But like for example, even like schools and whatnot, government buildings, any of those, if you walk into them, the permit doesn't expressly authorize, but it's also not defined as a crime. So the most they can do you is tell you to remove the firearm from the premises.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, it's trespass. Now, the state capitol, you walk in there if you have a concealed carry permit, you go through one specific door, you check in at the door, you hand them the gun, you walk through a medical detector, you get your gun back effectively, and then you walk on into the rest of the building.
And you have to show your CCW license to carry that.
You have to show your concealed carry.
Serenity says, hey, I hug trees. I'm the seed lady. How can I not hug a tree? Actually, we're okay with that. We're just saying be very careful of black and honey locusts and anything that emits sap. That's all we're saying. We care about your safety, and also whether or not you can get sap out of your clothes, because that involves a whole bunch of different stuff we don't want to get into. With Zote or all kinds of different detergents. So we're just looking out for your safety there. But hugging an oak tree, I'll be right there with you.
Just imagining my neighbor seeing me in the middle of the night hugging her oak tree or something. Climbing over the fence, hugging a tree.
Yeah, I have a couple of honey locusts on my property. I'll bring a couple branches. with the survey. Okay, hey guys, the survey's coming soon. It will be on the website, and please do help us. That's actually kind of important. Hopefully they have the ability to fill out the survey and send it in, because that's how we be grading everyone who's running for office, and we will hold their feet to the fire with said surveys. Let's see. Now I'm a sap. Oh, you said avoid sap. Got it. Yep, that's right. No, that's right. I said avoid sap. So that's all. And no, there's nothing. I love trees. Like I said, it's just hugging those honey or black locusts. That's a piercing experience you won't forget soon.
So something funny. A lot of people don't know. Like there's like most, like, you know, they have the trees and like in biologically the trees themselves. They have some plants. They have asexual reproduction where they actually reproduce with their own plant. And then you have the ones like a lot of tree species that have a male and a female half. Well, the funny thing is it's the female half that grows all the thorns.
That is weird.
If you find, it is weird because you actually start getting the male tree. They don't have thorns.
Oh, look out!
All right, let's see.
That's what he's saying.
No, I'm just mentioning it. It's actually kind of funny. It reminded me of, because I looking into that a while back, and I was like, oh, this looks like a locust, but there's no thorns on it.
All right, gotcha. Well, you know what? There could be some, you know, gender reassignment with trees too. I mean, I just don't know. I don't follow that stuff very often.
I don't think that works with trees.
Oh, it doesn't work with. See, I wouldn't even know that.
I mean,
you know, it's just.
I mean, you technically hang on.
Okay.
There is something. You could cut the tree off, and then what you do is you go around the room. You take your knife and go under the edge, and then you what is that? You splice in new tree, and
Gender reassignment.
Okay, gotcha. Understood.
I guess the big question is, you still gonna want to hug that tree, or you know?
Yeah, well, you know what though? You know, you can hate the assignment but love the tree. You could do that. Hey guys, on your screen.
Hey, he says.
Go ahead.
Serenity Asylum Acres says he said I was right, I guess.
Yep. There you go. Guys, on your screen before you see again Representative Dean Plocker. He is our person of interest right now. His phone number is 573-751-1544, and he is waiting for your call. He wants to know what you think about the Stand Your Ground Enhancement Act and whether or not he should be scheduling it floor time in the Missouri House of Representatives. He's a phone call away. Also, his email address, dean.plocker, DEAN, period, PLOCHER, at house.mo.gov. Also, in the description section, I've got a link directly to his page that gives you the same information. He not only wants a phone call from you, he wants an email from you. He wants to know how you want him to proceed with the Stand Your Ground Enhancement Act. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing here from this point forward. We're going to be letting him know until we get floor time that we want floor time for House Bill 2118. And we're going to be nice because honey actually is much better to use than vinegar. And that's what we're going to be doing, gang. So if you guys have any questions left, we're almost at an hour and a half, and I'll tell you what, we'll cut it off at the hour and a half mark. But you guys have any questions about how to proceed with this or anything like that, and then remember, those of you who are with us right now, we should be on again Thursday night unless something goes horribly wrong for me with work. Thursday night, 7:30, we should be doing another live stream. If it is not on the floor yet, or I'm sorry, if it has not been scheduled floor time, I will be making calls on speakerphone with my cell phone in real time, and you guys can hear the calls I'm making. And then I'll expect you guys to be making calls at the same time as well. Let's give Dean Plocker a little bit of love and let him know that House Bill 2118 is the right thing to do for Missouri. If you take your constitutional carry guy, right? If you brandish your firearm, you know, because there is a threat on your property, suddenly you wind up in court having to prove that you're innocent because you were defending your property, your life, and your property. We need to fix this, and this is how we fix it. Is with this bill. This actually forever fixes it. And then also, too, those of you who remember what happened to Rittenhouse, Kyle Rittenhouse, despite all the video evidence they had to prove that Kyle Rittenhouse was innocent of the charges that they were actually trying to assign to him, he had to go and defend himself in court. Even though they had video evidence that he was defending himself, that wasn't good enough. They tried to use emotion to sway a jury. That's exactly what they were doing. They did not.
That was politically motivated, because over there it is where the burden of proof is on the state, and the actual the judge even said that, and then ridiculed the prosecutor over it. But that was all politically motivated there.
Yeah, and you see how tough that was. Imagine yourself if you're the defendant here in Missouri, and you're in a situation like that.
Yep.
That's why this bill is so important. To me, it's just as important as SEPA.
Yep.
I mean, we're basically righting a massive wrong.
Yep. And it shouldn't have been the way it is right now in the first place. I'm not even sure how we got there.
It's crazy.
Yep. I don't know how we got there in the first place. I don't know if there's... Caleb, maybe you can answer this question. In fact, it's not been asked, but maybe it's time for me to ask you a question, Caleb. How is it that if I brandish a firearm on my property because someone is threatening me on my property, how is it that I am suddenly guilty of a crime and I must prove my innocence in court over that threat, even though it was on videotape? And I didn't shoot anything. I mean, that introduces another complication. We're not there. We're talking about what happened to the McCloskeys. How was that illegal?
You know, it's what's funny about that is I dug through Missouri law, and it technically isn't.
See, it's not. I couldn't find anything either. We were looking into the McCloskey thing.
Here's the layers of how Missouri. Now, I'm not a lawyer here, but I've dug into it because of my own experiences I've had to deal with out here, which Patrick, you know about to some extent. Poachers. But technically, there's okay, let's put it this way. There's two sections of law in Missouri, and a piece of it contradicts itself. But if someone is unlawfully on your property, and how Missouri defines it, you can use physical force to remove them. But if you use a firearm, it turns into that. Like, you could literally beat the crap out of them and throw them off the property.
Okay.
But if you scare them with a firearm, that doesn't make any sense. It's a jumbled up mix of stuff, and I'm sure in a court you could argue that, well, his heart started racing, his adrenaline kicked up, and he ran. I consider that physical force, you know. But it's a weird
But what?
It's weird how it's written. It's a convoluted mix of how it's written.
How were the
really
charges?
Confusing.
How were the charges written from Kim Gardner's office?
You know, they used what was it? Unlawful use of weapons or something of that regard.
Okay.
And I looked into that, and it's a fine line in how it is. God, see, I would have to read more into it to get the exact detail of how they did it, because I don't know the specific charges they used, all of them.
It was unlawful use of a weapon, a Class E felony.
Okay, so that I did get that right. But if you look at both, that is supposed to not apply if it's
we already had someone who
if it's someone that if it's someone who you told to leave and they didn't at that point, because it's not to the point where they have, in that situation that was politicized and they refused to acknowledge that they had Molotovs. That's another issue. But let's say, for example, that crowd was unarmed and they just busted through the gate. Ordering them to leave before brandishing the firearms, and then they don't, that technically wouldn't be a violation. It wouldn't be that Class E felony. But if you do that before and you already have the firearm out, then it's weird how it works. I mean, it's like I said, it's really convoluted. I'd have to actually look at the actual let's see here, the code. Because I had to look into it. Let's see here. That's the wrong one. I'm on holding for just a second. I'm gonna see if I can't.
Okay, no problem. In the meantime, I'm answering Freedom Inc.'s question. American Patriot says, I don't live in Missouri yet, but I definitely plan on moving there soon. And let's see. Oh, you want to make phone calls to politicians? Absolutely. Tell them that you're moving here. Yes, please. Tell them you're moving here.
Don't even tell them you're moving here. Just pretend like you live here.
Yeah. Let's see. Triple T Tony says, got here a little late. Is Representative Dean Plocker for or against 2118? Actually, that part doesn't matter. He is in control of putting bills on the floor. And basically, we need to let him know that the people of Missouri want that bill on the floor. It's the same thing with any bill. So I don't want to answer that question wrong. It's a valid question, I guess. But in this case, we're not asking him to support the bill. We're just asking him to schedule it floor time. That's what we're doing. So, and by the amount of phone calls he gets for floor time, that should probably help him sway him in the direction of voting for it anyway.
Now, did you see Roberts join the room, Patrick?
Yes. In fact, I gave him rights on that. Hey, welcome, Robert. Welcome to the Discord.
Thanks for having me, guys.
You bet. No problem, man. I'm sorry. We're wrapping up here real soon, but we always stay in the Discord at least another half an hour for those who want to come in from basically from YouTube, but don't want to be part of the live stream, so they can come in and rap with us if they got other questions, stuff they weren't or not comfortable talking about on YouTube because of the quote unquote censorship. And Freedom Inc., that's the answer. I'm sorry I didn't tag you on that. Let me know when you have time in the evening this week, other than Monday night or Thursday night. Tomorrow night, I will be doing a live stream with the American Free Press. And Thursday night, we're doing another live stream here on the Missouri Freedom Initiative because we need to update everybody on what's going on with HB 2118. It's to that point, gang, where we need to be hitting this one twice a week, at least with information for you guys.
Let's see here.
Okay. And let's see. Okay. All right. Yeah, there's no more questions that I'm aware of. So basically, I'll tell you what, gang, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up for now. Go ahead.
Can I bring something up real quick?
Sure.
All right. There's a few other bills. I know I brought it up as far as ballot initiative goes. Can I talk about that for just a minute?
Absolutely.
All right. Go to senate.mo.gov. When you get on there, click on committees. And then when you click on committees, you click on standing. Then once you do that, you're going to find local government elections and click on that. Now, this committee here, there's 3 bills you need to watch out for right off the bat. They're all, 2 of them are Senate joint resolutions, and 1 is a House joint resolution. All right. 2 of them, SJR 31, Onder is the sponsor of that bill. SJR 37, and Sandy Crawford is the sponsor of that bill. Both of those have made it out of that committee, and they haven't been assigned anywhere yet. But basically what these do is they raise the threshold on being able to put something on the ballot. They increase the percentages of signatures, the number of districts you got to get. In other words, they try to make it impossible for the average people to put something on the ballot. They're basically trying to take it away without taking it away. I'll just make it real quick. And those 2 have got out of that committee. I don't know where they're going to be assigned next, but I'll be tracking. I'll probably even put it up on Safe Central if I have to keep, because it's very important. Because when we got problems with the federal government, we use our state to fight that. We got problems with our state government. That ballot initiative is how we fight it. And there's one more that's really important. This is HJR 79. It also raises the thresholds. And it's already been through the House. It's passed the House, and it's now in the Senate, and it's been assigned to this local government and elections committee. And here's the people that are on this committee. You got Senator Sandy Crawford. Like I just said, she sponsored that one bill of hers, and it got it out of there. You got Lincoln Huff. That's Shat's boy right there. He's on there. And then you got Senator Jason Bean. You got Senator Bratton. Then you also have, hang on, move this down. Senator Dean Hegeman, Senator Angela Mosley, and Senator Greg Razor. And what's crazy about this thing is the five Republicans voted for those two resolutions to be moved on. The two Democrats actually voted against it. So normally we're dumping on the Democrats and giving a hip hooray for the Republicans, but it's just total opposite this time. But these resolutions need to be killed before they even go up for a vote, because especially the House one, what's bad about it is if it ends up getting passed and it goes on the ballot, all it's going to say, it'll say how many you'll need like 2/3 or whatever of the votes in order to pass a ballot initiative. What's not going to tell you is all the thresholds are going to be raised. So that's kind of very misleading. People aren't going to a lot of people are going to just look at it and say, oh, it's basically same thing. No one's going to know that all the thresholds are being raised on this, because it's not going to be in a ballot language. So this thing's a real weasel of a bill. And the other two probably aren't going to be any better. But those three really need to be stopped. Like I said, I would check them out. Let me
We can hit that on Thursday night too, for sure. The ballot initiative issue here in Missouri, that will end up going in front of the voters if that gets passed through the House and Senate.
SJR 31, sponsored by Anders. SJR 37, sponsored by Crawford. And then HJR 79, sponsored by Henderson. All of these raise the thresholds, and these are the ones that be going on the ballot if they get through. And like I said, HJR 79 has already gone through the House. So that's once, and it's going to be in that local government elections committee. And I already told you the people are on there. So check that out, guys, because I'm telling you right now, man, that ballot initiative is very important. A lot of states don't even have it. They want to take it away here. Because I heard Bob Anders say when I was at that committee hearing for 31 and 37, he was saying, a lot of states don't even have a ballot initiative. Basically, let me translate that for you. He wasn't here either, all right? They don't want the people making the laws. They want to make laws for themselves. That's a big part of being of, by, and for the people. So I mentioned that. Go check those out, man. Senate.mo.gov, and go to the committee, local government elections. I mean, if you're watching this, you'll be able to play it again and get the directions to get there. And in fact, Missouri Liberty Report, your boy Robert Smith the other night, I thought he did pretty good as far as answering those, I mean, he knew the same thing. They're just basically trying to make it harder for we the people to have power in our government, if I remember that right.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for that.
Yep, there he is right there, the man.
There you go.
Whenever there's a bill, the first thing you got to ask is who does it affect, and are they losing anything? What are you taking away from them? And so, as you go through these bills, we can read them and see, what does it take away? So those bills, in my opinion, they're trying to squeeze us out from being able to pass stuff.
Yeah, man, it's good on you for realizing that.
Yep. Hey, Robert, what district are you running in again?
District 125, Missouri House.
District 125. Hey, gang, as we're wrapping up here, we have the guy who is actually running for representative in District 125, if you'd like to talk to him. State Representative Robert Smith. So if you want to come into the Discord from the YouTube, you're welcome to jump on in, after we end it here. And we are going to end it here pretty quick. But we will be here in Discord for a while longer. Jump in. The water's warm. So before we go, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who joined us on YouTube this evening, everyone who participated in the Discord, because this is participatory. This is what we want to know what Missourians want. We want to make sure that Missourians receive the representation that they deserve and also are participants in that process. And they are go in educated. That's what we do. And so we're trying to make sure that happens. Does anyone have any final thoughts before we wrap her up?
Yeah. Jimmy, we're going to get you 2118, buddy.
Yep. Yep. So, all right then, gang. Rhino says they're trying to get ranked choice voting here too. We need to fight that. Rhino76, where are you? Remind me, please. I don't remember where you're at. I remember you told us before. And you have to forgive me. I mean, my memory's just horrible. You know, people tell me all the time where they're from. But Norma says good night. Hey, good night to Norma. Tell her we love her. Good night, Norma.
Good night, Norma.
All right. Yeah, that's Tribulation Prepper's way of saying it's getting pretty late. Guys, I want you to actually, and more trees, not the sticky ones. That's great advice, Serenity. Thank you. Appreciate that. And ones with not, the little pokey,
or the
things
pokey
on
ones.
them. Yeah, like the honey locust and the black locust. Thank you again for joining, gang. Please come in and join us in Discord. We'll be here for a while. Camdenton is where Rhino's at. That's right.
Save those spotted owls.
Yep. So, again, thank you for joining us. May God bless each and every one of you. And may God be looking after our friend Jim Wendell. You guys take care. We love you all.